Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Man Alone Solo Role-Playing Podcast. Hello, Stephen. Stephen is inviting you to join SEAL Team Waffle Alpha, which is our members-only clique. For only $4 a month, you can join our Discord. There's over 100 people there now. It's popping, man. It's unbelievable. I've lost control. They've taken over. I'm nobody there, but you can be somebody there. You'll also get access to the weekly podcast, members-only videos. It's a great time. So please hit join below if you're interested. We'd love to have you on board. Also, and this is the last time I'll take up video time to say it, so really pay close attention. Thank you to Tower House Creative all throughout April, helping us celebrate the pre-generation celebration in which Man Alone encourages players who have a hard time getting over that hump and doing the first playthrough. If you're one of those people, this is your month. Everybody should try to pull out some pre-generated characters. Character creation's great, but sometimes you have a hard time to get going. Pull out a pre-gen and just start playing, see what happens. To help us celebrate, Tower House Creative is offering 20% off everything from their store using promo code MANALONE20, which is mostly on the screen there. As well, we are now through the end of April. BB and I are accepting submissions for the pre-generation celebration pre-gen character sheet. Everybody who sends one in, we are going to add it to a database is a bit much folder that'll be accessible online so that people, anybody in the solo playing community can go in there and find pre-gens. There's some that's already been submitted. They're awesome. And we're going to reward people for using great artistic creativity. You could decorate it, create some profile pictures. Talent is only one aspect of it. We no AI, all right? No insecurities about your drawing. Even if you're no good at it, just try your best because you'll get points for that as well. It's all about effort. It's not all about that. We need that. We need that money. There's no money involved in that. I don't know why I said it, but at the end of the month, 3 winners will be chosen, and those 3 will be sent a Fate Mill of their own from Tower House Creative. This is one of the essential solo tools, as well as a lot of other stuff from their website. So please send that in. Rules and information below. How do I get this off the screen? It's worn out its welcome. There we go. Okay, so speaking of getting up and going, there is something that has been scurrying around in my mind ever since on the last podcast episode. The co-host and I, Mr. 55, who is not incapable of playing tabletop role-playing games, some sort of mental block or hypofrontality in the frontal lobe, or we're not sure. We're getting testing, but he just is no good. And yet we within 15 minutes we had a character created in Mausritter. We were playing through it, and I gotta say, I have to apologize because it's not that I wasn't like an anti-Mausite. But when I first got Mausritter, I was like, oh, it's a cute little game, right? It won the best family game in 2021. There's not much to it. It's not a very serious game. And so given that Mr. 55 is, has his role-playing difficulties, I said, well, this will be an easy game and there's not much to it. The character sheet is so simple, and the inventory system, look at the character sheet. And then the more I'm playing through it and the more I'm reading, just what this game has to offer and the way that it has to offer it, by the time I was done with that, I was like, I know it's not the system it's not going to work with every game, but I think it'll work with most. And for some reason, it just started to feel like the game that whenever I want to play a scenario, whenever I want to play an adventure, I was like, I don't know what's happening to me, but I think it might be this. Now, There's a lot of DNA shared with this and Knave into the odd. Not really. Maybe Troika, but Bastion Land. And so, there's a hit protection system. There's a very simple, deadly, quick character creation, all that stuff. But it's the small differences that really make a game shine sometime. And I think that just some of the choices that Mausritter makes, it just packs a lot in not a lot of space. Okay, and so I am really high on Mausritter right now. And you can see right here acknowledgments into the odd, knave, mothership. All right. But I'm just really, really feeling like this rule set can do just about anything. And what I think is great about it is, number one, even though this is only 45 pages, the amount of tools in here for a solo player is unbelievable. Just the range of options in character creation. Weapons are all managed in an inventory system that's like has like perforated weapons. So it's like, is my weapon two-handed? Well, it takes up 2 spots on my inventory, right? Am I exhausted? Well, exhausted is going to take up 1 inventory slot. And they actually have like a dry erase marker that you can track these things. How many uses of the torch? Well, let's see how many times we filled in the little circle there. And so for somebody like me who has a hard time like running a lot of cylinders at once, it is really, really good. And just about every adventure module for this game fits on, you know, a local coffee shop, the type, the ones that open every year 0.8 and they close down in 1.8 years. They have adventure hooks. They really like Losing Games, who produces this. They have the system down, and this was brought into stark clarity with the adventure module that I recently picked up, which is the Estate. And the Estate has, I think, 10 or 11 adventures. I need to move this mic without blowing your eardrums out. 1 second. Okay, yeah. So it has like a couple extra goodies. Like it has these character record backpacks, since you do have these little perforated things. It's nice to sort of hold all of those. But then all of the adventures have one of these, with the tables and the hooks and the background and the options, maybe a few weapons. Look at all these. And then they also all have their own system of conditions, weapons, items, and they always have something to like make your own, as well as some other features or like, unique aspects of this. Like, oh, this has a minute hand and an hour hand. What could that be in the ticking tower, right? And so the whole system is, it does something that I think a lot of, there is an artfulness in this that exceeds my grasp in terms of like my ability to make games, and it is, I think, the most important ability in the tabletop gaming community right now, and it's one that is very rare, and that is the ability to just stop yourself, to really boil down to what is actually needed here, what is actually required for the player to know, what rules should they know, what rules don't need to be here, where can we stop and let the players step in and say, okay, we're going to take it from here. We're smart enough to fill in these rules ourselves, to innovate. I think it hits right in that sweet spot. The Estate comes with a map. What's on the back here? Welcome to Brickport. Oh, that's right. One of these, I think, one of these is, I gotta open up to this. It's really cute. One of these is a race car, but maybe that's not this one. Brickport's the sewer one. Yeah, it's the Song of the Frogacle, which is like you have to race along this. Super cute. Anyways, that's the problem. I thought it was all cute. And to be honest, a lot of it is, right? A lot of it maybe isn't my vibe. I don't regularly think to myself, hey, I want to play as a mouse. Like, I'm more of like, I want to play as Conan the Barbarian in Hyperborea kind of guy. But we can do that. Like, just because the game offers us a certain aesthetic, the rule system, the approach to it, we can just do with that whatever we want to. And for instance, Cairn, the second edition, we just did a video of that a few days ago. There is a resource in which you can print out all of the items as, you know, Mausritter type items and place them in your inventory as little tile sets and everything like that. And so I'm just I'm very high on life. I feel great actually. And I'm also very high on Mausritter. So I'm going to show you some of the solo tools and treats and goodies and just fun things that make this feel a very I think within 1 hour you could do everything I'm going to do on this video and just start playing, and it's going to feel like you've got something special that you own. And what we're going to do is I'm just going to show you, I'm not going to sit here and like, there's a little bit of crafting stuff here. I'm sure that you can figure that out on your own, but I'll just introduce the things, then I'll pause, finish them just to conserve time. And then once we have everything together, we're just going to start playing, and we'll use the tools that we need, and it's going to be great. Stick around, okay? And hey, maybe if you make a pre-gen for this, you can submit it. The pre-gen has to work. No 5,000 strength pre-gen. Okay, I'll be right back. Oh, before I do anything else, I know that we took a vote the other day, and that while I was recording the Cairn video, Symbaroum like rallied and won. I am working on a solo play video for Symbaroum. I love the setting, but it's a lot to it, and it's a mechanic that I'm a little unfamiliar with, so I'm working on it. It's coming. Fear not. Okay. All right, so first things first, I need some fellows to help me out. Maybe some fellows and chicas. And so here I just printed out from Itch some foldable paper minis, and they're at 38 and 50 millimeters. We have the Hedge Witch, Merchant, Bravo, Swordsman, which are subtypes. We can rename them, whatever. But I'm going to cut these out. And then I bought this this thing that I'm sure it's one of these things on Amazon that, like, when somebody orders it, they're like, do we even have that anymore? Because they sent me just every one in the warehouse. But this was like $7 for these little stands, and they're just kind of thick paper cutouts here. And so we're just going to cut these out and fold them over. I might do it. I might try to use a little colored pencil. Please keep in mind I have protanopia color blindness, so I'm going to try my best. But if they're a little off, I try my best. All right, let's make some characters. Where's my cursor? Oh, there it is. I think we're going to do the 50 millimeter. It looks like that will be the right size for this. You know, a thought occurred to me too, like before I start coloring these in, why don't I see like how long it takes me in real time? Like when I pause here, I won't stop the clock to see how, I mean, I colored this shirt, so I'll add 5 seconds, but let's just see from here to start time. How many minutes? Let's check it out. Is this thing gonna, okay. All right, so that was 9 minutes to color them, and we'll cut them out. Oh, wait a minute, I didn't, darn it. All right, so about 10 minutes for that. And now I will either cut them out or, no, there's no reason to. This is my perforator. There are many like it, but this one is mine. All right, the moment of truth. I mean, I also already had some truth because I definitely accidentally had this under it. But this is where you see when you X-Acto knife something, if you were actually cutting it or if you were just rubbing it. All right, so I think I missed some cuts here. Oh, that one's not so good. That one's reasonably good. That I didn't cut. That one's pretty good. And that I didn't cut. All right, so what's an X-Acto knife? Like $3. And these are free on Itch. And then I'll probably just give this one a scissor trim, but I have to stop after I do like one, or else I keep making it weirder and weirder and weirder. All right, so now we have some characters, and of course we can always make some more or use anything else really, just for funsies, but makes it kind of feel like official, you know? Makes it feel like you did something, which is important. It's important to like tell you to, you're not even tricking your brain. Your brain needs to know that it like, your brain is like 6. It's like, did I do a good job? Yeah, you did a great job. Okay. How about that? Did I do a good job? Yeah, you did a good job on that too. You got to remember, like, no matter how old you are, no matter how smart you are, your brain is still just like this like a wrinkly thing of ham. Okay, so now what we'll probably do is I could do a glue stick, and that's probably the best, although I try anything to liquid tape things because it's so satisfying. I just don't know if this is the right job for liquid tape here. Let's try it. Maybe. I'll try this. Okay. Oh, it's so satisfying and so good. But it's expensive because you don't get a lot of it with it. And it's just not for everything. All right. Pretty good. And then it's kind of this part is sometimes a little bit tricky. You got to like, if these are, this one is, I think, especially stubborn unless I've grown weaker. Well, while I'm trying to get this open, I just have to tell you something with no context. It was great. No laws were broken. Okay. So no to all my enemies. This isn't where you finally take me down. It was not a government situation. Okay. So, all right, I'll finish this off. But yeah, looks good, right? Looks like we have something. Okay, that wasn't even paused. So, what the hell? All right, so next thing is just to make some hireling cards, and really, they kind of we kind of have a nice favor here because, well, it's not really a favor, but it's no big deal. Because really, we only need 3 of these. If we have 3 compadres here, we're going to use an actual character sheet for our main person, our main squeeze. So now for this one here, instead of using the X-Acto, we can get more exact. Yo. I'm so sorry. Is it recording? Yes. Okay. So probably I always have a hard time with this. Right there. Yeah, that works. And then do it right here. There we go. All right. And so now, let's see, what's the template here? Maybe that. Yeah, so this, I am a little bit obsessive about some things like this, but you know what? It's not the best thing about me, but it's not the worst thing. So I can kind of feed that obsessiveness a little bit. That's okay. If it wants it, it wants it. All I know is, and I try to tell this to this part of myself, is like, dude, you know that like it's fine. Like there's nothing wrong with the way that it is. And no, it could be better. It could look better. Just what? Why not? Why can't make it look just like a little bit better? But then what happens is I overcorrect it, and then it starts to then I try to fix that, and then as a kid that always had like in the middle of every art project like a big, dirty, smudgy eraser spot because I tried something and then I got frustrated, and then yeah, it was no good. There's that. And this should be all right. Okay. All right. So we have some roughly the same size hireling cards, and we'll go to the the box set to get the player card for our own dude. And of course, pre-gens are the name of the game here. There are no pre-generated sheets in the Mausritter box set, but there are plenty. There is a wonderful engine online where we can quickly roll up our 3 mice. So on the Mausritter website, it has a feature to just make a mouse, and you can roll it as many times as you want, and I'll tell you how many pips as far as money. And so I am just going to roll this 3 times, and so that we can honor like the fact that it's pre-generation month, I'm gonna generate all my hirelings, and then for my mouse, I'll just quickly go through the mouse creation process just so I can honor the fact that like this video will be evergreen and somebody might be watching it 15 years after pre-generation celebration. If you're watching this 15 years in 2040, please like tag me below or just check in. Okay. All right, so first one we'll do here is Belladonna Catrezen. I'm just going to pause here just to, well, not my timer, just the video to fill this in. All right, this is actually perfect because I intentionally left this one it was listed as some sort of witch or something, hedge witch, but Belladonna Catrezen is a mendicant priest who is inquisitive and stubborn, missing an ear, tan with flecks, and all of the stats and everything come in for a hireling just like they would for a main character. Like the things they wouldn't have are additional inventory, and actually really we're not going to do that, but I did list how many pips they have because we could just share that money. But really there's no reason, especially in solo play, if we could do 4 full characters, but let's keep it simple just so we don't have to manage everything. So let's fix this, and then I'm going to roll the next character just so that we can see here. Dill Winterholm. Gosh, that's great. I'm working on figuring out the color tan to color it in, but I did white out her ear because she was missing an ear. All right, I definitely messed her up. I made her jaundiced. I know I can't really tell, but this is a messed up. Anyways, is what it is. We must press on. Now we got to make dill. Crudyard Kipling. I forgot to write down the items for Belladonna Catre Zen. So we'll roll up some items for her. I don't remember. Anyways, we'll do like one that's just to grab the items from them. But I'm gonna see if these little tabs actually exist. So the rations and the torches definitely exist. The other items might exist like in all of the items of the estate. I don't know. I could, there's some blank ones. I could fill them in. I'll do that later. So like the spells and the two items that are not rations or torches, I'll just write them on the back of their paper for now, and then we can go hunting for them. But these are very easy to print if you just have like a little bit of a thicker cardstock paper. Of course, they're not like these are sort of hard cardboard, but you can get pretty close to them. For instance, this is like a hex that I printed on a heavier paper, and it does the trick. Like I was even able to perforate it and pull it. So, all right. And then all of them usually have weapon of choice. And so when we're done, we'll like distribute weapons to make sure there's a good mix. All right, this next one here is just for items. Oh, he's got 3 pips. And a prehensile tail. Nice. I love that cage dweller. Cage dweller, you never leave your cage. Okay, this one's just for the items for rations and torch. 6-inch pole. That one I do think is available, but just in the interest of time. And a loyal beetle hireling. That's why there's less. I don't want my hirelings to have hirelings, so let's try again. There we go. Quill and ink. Yeah, I think as much as I would love to have like hireling trees. All right, so quill and ink and a compass. That's going to be very helpful. And then rations and a torch, which both rations and torches have 3 uses. All right, so now let's roll again. Okay, Kasia Buckthorn. And Kasia is a gambler. And birth sign is a wheel. Industrious. I will all right, so Kasha's stats kind of suck, but she's got loaded dice, mirror, spear, 6-inch chain, rations and torches, and a weapon of her choice. 2 pips. So like just a lot of stuff. I mean, the spear is going to be nice too. That's a D10. But then also the best thing is HP is 6. So, all right. So then I think one more just to get the birth sign of, man, Belladonna did not star. Okay. So we could probably should we just use Jack Pip as my guy here? It's kind of fun, right? Jack Pip, background cartographer. Why doesn't he have the compass? Oh, he does. Compass and quill and ink. All right. So put that on the back. Well, is there a note section? Compass, quill et ink, quille ink. Brave and reckless. Birth sign is star. Oh, let's get a different birth sign for him just because I put that as Belladonna's. I don't think it'd have the same. Coat is black and patchy. Sharp eyes. Nice stat loadout here. We have 7, 7, 10, 10, 9, 9, and not bad 5. 5, how many pips? 2 pips. Okay. And so then we have rations, torch. So everybody's going to get rations and torches. How fun is this, right? I mean, I'll probably have to move this over just in the interest of time. And then when I do start playing, I could, or after the session, I can draw a picture. As far as the weapons go, we probably want a good, I know that, let's see. Who is it? Kasia had the spear, right? And also probably when it comes to like hirelings, I'm probably going to, it's hard to say because you know, I'm probably going to go over to my big table to play this when I play it on my own, but in the interest of space, I could probably just keep, you know, like 1 rations and 1 torches sheet, but we want to, as much as possible, you know, create a really wonderful environment to play in is what we're going for. All right, quill and ink and a compass. Spear and chain. Hook, arm, bow. Okay, so spear. I'm not seeing a chain, but again, I think there might be some stuff on here that is from the estate, which is very cool. So like this might be a problem though, because Kasia's a gambler and is already not going to be able to hold everything. And I don't necessarily want to like lose all of it because we could sell it and stuff. But for one person, there might be like 2 of these. But for us, we'd probably like create a chest with 8. And so I don't know, maybe I would arm the spear, but it still gets a weapon of choice. Rations, torch, mirror, loaded dice, spear, 6-inch chain. Okay, yeah, so we could figure that out. We need probably somebody who's ranged. We need somebody with some light weapons. Somebody with some mediums and some spells. So let's do a mace, a dagger. This is what it looks like when you use your stuff you bought. You gotta ruin it to have fun, and then you're not really ruining it. All right, so that would be a good weapon. We'll keep some spells here. With spells, it's like these runes are, you have to cast the spells holding the runes, and the runes have like the spell in them, and then they have to recharge. Okay, a sword. Improvised weapons will come and go. So maybe we keep that on deck. A needle, I like that. If someone needs a really light weapon, a dagger, an axe. And then we'll probably want a bow with some arrows. Arrow! Although, I do know that there's also the option of a sling. Hello. What are you doing here? Come on, I'm on a time limit. There's also the option of a sling if we don't want to take up 2 hands. But I've never actually used the bow in this game. Let's use a bow. It's always been, I'm like Mr. Slingshot over here. Hey, Mr. Slingshot. Yeah. Why don't you give it your best shot? Hey, guys, back up. He's got his slingshot. Ah! Mr. Slingshot took out all those teens. All right. So, Yep, it must be getting warmer outside because now wherever this little portal that these ants walk through, they're going to come and walk out on every single one of my videos. All right, so who's the strongest? 9, 6, 7, 7. Okay, so Dill is actually the strongest. And he has a spell, though, of Be Understood. Be Understood. But let's give that to Dill. Loaded. Everyone's got a loaded dice. How about a loaded baked potato for once? And then who's fast? Okay, Belladonna is fast. Let's give Belladonna a dagger. And maybe we can give some versatility and do a sling as well. That'd be kind of fun, right? Oh, I'm all alone. Thought you were here. That's how real this felt. Oh, actually, I'm putting them in the wrong slot. Should be in main paw and off paw. And some stones. Okay. What else do you get? Quill and ink and compass. And then Kasia is kind of balanced, so oh, my guy's got a good dex too. Okay, so let's do an axe and needle. Or yeah, I'm fine with that. When you have a two-handed weapon, I did an axe and a sword. If it's two-handed, it's a D8, or medium weapons two-handed D8. But the way you do a two-handed weapon is you just roll 2 dice and then you take the higher one. All right. So then Kasia, maybe Kasia should have the bow and the sling and the dagger, because it's like we don't know. It's balanced, so like whatever's working better works better. And then we'll do, there we go. All right, so the spell is Be Understood. Boy, I wish I can cast that with my father. And then compass, quill, and ink. Okay. And nobody gets needle this time, but that's okay. Now, so that's characters. That's how we set that up. Now we have 2 options as far as solo play goes. I mean, we have a lot more than 2, but 2 is how I'm seeing it. And I've not tried this yet, because the first time I just used Einzelmaus by Mana Ramp Matt, which is this. You've probably seen these like every Into the Odd. It's I think that the pressure question is fine. A lot of this other, or the pressure point, is fine. The spark table is valuable. I do think something else could have been like NPC reactions, overland travel, follow the rules presented in Mausritter, or whatever you prefer. I mean, come on. That's not really, of course we'll do that. But you know, that, I mean, that's really, the spark table is really all you need for that. And it's also a beautiful thing. Like it's really, really well made. So I didn't mind at all spending like $1 or $2 on it. But this is my thought of how we can sort of bring this play to the next level here with 2 other tools that are affordable. So the first thing I'm thinking here is sorry. So we can start like somewhere in the estate. In fact, we can like pull out one of the, we could start like on the estate if we wanted to. That might actually be a nice starting point for us. And there is like info for that, specifically like, and then on the estate, it like breaks out into all these little things, but that's going to be sort of a different game altogether. We could do these other settlements to start in. Maybe we start in Brambletown or something like that, okay? And just really quick, because I'm curious, I just want to see if any of the items here are included in these. Caterpillar crown. So we're looking for like loaded dice. Worm whistle. Glowing tomato, mint chewing gum. Yeah, so maybe they just have to be made. There's a lot of options here, though, no? Pretty cool, right? Oh, I should have been looking for be understood. Okay. Darn, I thought it would be on this one. It had like a chess piece and everything. Well, that's okay. We could definitely like make that. That's not a problem at all. But yeah, so what I'm thinking is, start up wherever. Start up in a neutral place. We can bring some NPCs out. We can, I think even the Game Master's Apprentice would be like a really easy way to get some conversations with NPCs going. The null dice would be fantastic. Maybe using adventure crafter cards can be an option. There's plenty of information on each of those. As for myself, when I need to just call somebody, it's Dungeon Master's Apprentice is pretty darn good. So fantasy or regular, I think we'll do regular. And so, we can generate, here's some individuals. We could say we met Nemu, who gluttony in a hall, whatever it is. Your choice in terms of like where to start it and who to start it with. But the structure I think we want to use is as follows. Let me clear this off. I'm sorry, but how freaking cute is the light armor? Is like this little thing with a button for a shield, and then the heavy armor is a thimble and like a little thing at the bottom of a light bulb. All right, so I'm not trying to like blow that part off of like where we start, but just hear me out on the bigger vision for this, and then I think some things will fall into place. Because by the way, there's lots of again, there's on the browser. Have you heard of an internet browser? I meant on the Losing Games website. There's things here where we can just like roll up NPCs. We can roll up a random adventure site, which will give us tons of options. You could also just like roll on it. So I'm not too worried about that. I'm just thinking like the setup. How do we give structure for this here? And I think part of it is we create this principality, and this is available on the Mausritter website, which is, I'll put it below. I purchased from itch.io, I think for $1. And if I didn't yet, if it was one of those things that I could just download and then pay later, I will, because these are so good. And I started perforating them, and then I ripped one of them out, and I was like, why did I perforate this and not just cut it? But what I'm thinking here is we cut these out, turn them upside down, and then as we move, we can not only use the tools in the book or on the website to generate like what's here, but we can place these or even glue them here so that when we're done, each time as well, they fit perfectly. Each time we can also put a little colored pencil to it so that by the end of it, it's just looking like this gorgeous thing that is completely filled in with these different hexes. And there's place down here for encounters, rumors. And so these can be, oh, and then each of these places we can describe them, any factions, resources, the goals that they have. Now this, if you're not familiar with Mausritter, this all complies or sort of conforms to the model that they have there. Here's this little GM screen you get. I really do recommend the box set. It's really nice, but you can also get pay what you want online for the instructions. So you can just check it out, see if you like it. But the box set comes with this nice, you know, it's just like cardboard, but GM screen with like bric-a-brac, non-player mice, social positions. You could roll up mice appearance, matroname, settlement names, taverns and inns, daily weather, overland travel, hirelings. And so all of these things you can use in addition to just like this thing. But if we get this, we're like, okay, it's a river. We have to cross a river. It's a house. And I'm sure there are other ones besides this, but over time, this is going to create like a whole map for us. And then this can be one hex in a larger overland map. And like I said, we can have as a starting point the estate, and we can and we can every place we can build out to the maximum. It doesn't have to just be like one or two details. But here's what I'm thinking. I also got, and this one was $3, but if you do get this one, make sure you pay the $5 because I messed up. I think it could have been a little clearer, but it was $3 for the base thing. And if you paid $5, you got like the additional tools, which he made new ones. I don't know who it is actually. They made new ones. And because I paid $3 for it, now I have to pay $5 again for the other ones where I would have got them for anyways. This is called a deck of Dungeons and Treasures, Rules and Perilous Tunnels. Comes with this tracker, this exploration sheet. Check this out. Anytime that we flip something and it's a dungeon of any kind, and a dungeon doesn't have to be an underground thing. Look, a house could be a dungeon. An anthill can be a dungeon. Okay? Whatever the hell this is can be a dungeon. This greenhouse could be a dungeon. A dungeon is, you know, an enclosed, limited space that you explore. We can use a deck of Dungeons and Treasures, which is just this 6-page guide that I printed out here. $3. Some recommended oracles, by the way. There's Einzelmaus. Yeah, Mythic, GME. Recluse. I've never seen that. Check that out. And then it's a 52 plus 2 Joker card deck, and it gives you instructions. You turn over the cards in an order, and you explore a dungeon. And check this out. So, like, anytime that you pull up a heart, it's an obstacle. Puzzles, it's a diamond. Clubs, it's traps. Spades, layers. Adventure hooks based on that as well. Treasures are listed out. And there are two or three more of these. And apparently it got Kickstarted or something because it's making even more. And then, you know, whatever the result of this, you come back out of the dungeon and move to the next hex. And if you pull up a town, you build out a settlement. You use those tools in the GM guide. And we go and we just play. All right. And so the last thing I'm going to do here, and I won't do it on camera because this is going to be the end of our time together for now. We will play through this in a future video, but it's 3 a.m. Is that we'll play this out and we'll see how it goes. In fact, because it's so late, maybe I'll do that tomorrow and just compound that video onto this one. If I do that, another video is going to start right now. Let's see if I remember. The first word I'm going to say is hamburger. Let's see if I can do that. But for now, I'm going to X-Acto all of these different hexes out. Let me know if you, well, maybe you won't see me yet. All right, that's it. And hamburger helper. Hello, everybody. So I've been thinking about this for like the last 24 hours. As you can see, I've been hard at work here, printing out some of the additional little chips here. There is actually an amazing menu of tools that are available on the Mausritter.com website. And there is the one to make a mouse that we saw. Then there's also the adventure site generator that you could randomly roll some adventure sites. And there's also this item card studio where you can print out like a whole sheet. It'll just make a whole sheet of different things. So I did put all the ones that weren't available in the standard core set for the cards and printed them out. I did put them on stock paper. They're still a little bit thinner, and so they're not quite the ones that come in the starter core set, I guess you can call it, are nice and thick. I don't know if my printer would be able to do that, considering they're like not bent. The sheets do not bend, but I think these will do the trick. However, in order to maintain any sense of order here and enjoy the little like setup that we have, this needs to be the lowest level of this whole thing. So to facilitate that, there is like a dry erase thing that I added over it that we can track the turns with here and any conditions that anybody has. And maybe a little bit, I'm not sure if we'll be able to get the whole thing in frame. Yeah, not bad. And then just a couple of things before we start. I did decide, even though this is like a really cool tool here, a deck of Dungeons and Treasures, we could maybe use this if we go into a dungeon. But to be honest, this thing kind of seems like an adventure all its own, especially because there's new ones that are being printed as well. So we can check it out if we have time, and it seems like a cool thing to do. But otherwise, we'll just kind of keep it as light as possible. I think that's the best move, especially when you're just starting to learn how to play a game. And so I did find this gorgeous hex map for Tiny Adventures by cmartins.itch.io. So that's Martins. So it's not Chris Martin from Coldplay, but it might be Chris Martins. I don't know. And I just saw this, and it was just the color and everything. It's just incredible. It's just incredible. The tools available have blown me away. And so this comes with this, which has some rumors and counters and then the different hexes. So I think we'll use that. I also found the Shattered Oak, which is like a vertical dungeon. Maybe that can come in handy. We'll see. And then this is the sheet that is with the card deck dungeon. We can also record anything that comes up on these hexes using this sheet, which is also available in the resources on the Mausritter website. Just in the interest of space here, I hope this works because I haven't tried it yet, but I did cut out the hex. Did I get it? Come on. Well, oh, maybe I got it. A little bit. There we go. Oh, I forgot one section here. How could I do it? Stupid. There we go. Now it should work. And there we have it. And so we have a hex that we can move our characters around on. We'll still keep this handy just because, it's a got some information on it. It also has like faction tracking, which I'm not sure how to do yet. We'll see if that comes up. But two things before we get started, really quick. These are two things, oh boy, that I think are going to take the gameplay of this to the next level. And the first one is a supplement that I found on a YouTube video that I can't remember the video, but it had a Google Drive account. And let me tell you how to find it. And I'll look it up and link it. But if you just type in Mausritter how to play, it's like the first one that comes up. It's called like Many Tales or something like that. And it's just this 9-page supplement. Okay. And in it is some modifications that the guy made to improve like long-term campaign possibilities for Mausritter. And so there's a couple of different modifications here, but as we're going to take one of them and then we're going to consider another one given like how things play out. But the first thing, which I thought was a great idea, is creating a wits stat. Okay. And now there are many game designers, almost all the Free League games, but many designers that have a sort of principled stance against perception checks and stuff like that, because they see it as, I suppose, like a nuisance thing. You know, they'll say, if your players find something, just tell them they found it. If your players solve something, just show them the thing that they solved. And I think that's actually really good, or it's valid. It's a valid choice. However, in solo play, it's a little bit difficult, right? Because I am both the GM and the player. So it's like, oh, if your players notice something, then tell them it's there. But I'm the one who is both noticing the thing and seeing whether the players notice it. I can't do it. So I need some sort of check to randomize that. And this system here, very simple, just add together strength, dex, willpower, subtract that from 36. So this comes 7, 17, 26. 36 minus 26 is a 10. So I just added a wit stat. I actually drew that in, which is why it looks a little bit weird on my sheet. It's fine for my main character to just have that wit stat, unless Jack Pip bites the dust. We don't have to. We'll graduate somebody else into that leader position. And then the other thing is, borrowed from Karen, is a scars system, right? Because again, the game is very upfront. Hey, look, if a mouse dies and they don't live very long, just make another mouse. And you know, I like that approach for some reasons, but in a campaign, a person might feel connected to their player character. And so this one, we would have these wounded tokens, and on the first wound, your player would take a scar, and the scars, you'd roll a d20, or you can sort of like, based on what happens, you could probably choose one. And it's a disadvantage, but also it allows for a new possibility in Cairn. Okay. Now, in this one, it's only negatives, which I don't love that, because the whole point of scar progression is that you've learned something, you've grown in some way. And yes, you might be disadvantaged in one way, but it's like, that's never going to happen to me again. And so I might consider, if it even gets this far, to take a look at the Cairn scars and see if we can apply one of those. But still, maybe we don't want to do it at all. I just think that's a good idea. This is worth downloading. Again, it's free. Just links to the Google Drive. And the last few pages is, he just creates like some lore and some backstory, because I think that is another thing that's missing a little bit from just the possibilities to play this game, and more than just a one shot or a few games, is, you know, we got to build out the land. Now, the game itself, the game itself has tons and tons going for it, but it's true. One thing maybe is it underestimates its ability to be played as a long-term game, And I think, you can't have everything, right? This game is 44 pages. That's a choice. Being that brief gives us a lot of great things. Okay, it gives us a lot of advantages, but it also creates some limitations. And so the community, luckily, around this game is unbelievable. If you just go to the Mausritter website and go to like resources and click on, well, for me, I clicked English language. There are like 1,100 resources, and many of them, if not the majority of them, are free. Even more if for ones that are like $1 or $2 or pay what you want. Okay, and then the other one is, oh, that's turn tracker. There's that. Okay, the other one that we're going to look at here is going to lift this to a higher level, and this is the Hansen Expansion, which the core book of Mausritter is 45 pages, I guess, if you count the back cover. This is 84 pages. All right. And it's good. I think it was $7. So a new advancement system, expanded character creation. And we're going to go through some of these character questions before we start, because I think asking questions like this, just, you don't even have to write it down, just answer them. That is going to create, you're starting to create like the Kindle that you need to throw sparks on it and it'll light. You just have to think about these things so that it emergent solo play becomes a lot easier when you do these kind of things in advance. It, rather than sitting there going, oh no, what should I do? What does this mean? You start saying, well, these things just make sense. The other thing is these meaningful birth signs. There's just about 12 birth signs. 12 in the book. And so I'm going to assign an additional birth sign to Jack Pip here, and I'll roll on. It's a D66, and that way we can get like a little bit of a boost from that. I think that's great. More dispositions, more coat patterns, alternate player species. You can play as a vole or a frog or a lizard. So really, really powerful expansions here with weapons and armor and food. Now, in the hour or so that we're going to play here, are we going to get to a lot of these things? Probably not. But looking down the list here in like chapter 4, we have things for owning property, which is like mentioned in the book, but this builds it out a lot. In addition to having just like fantastic tables and stuff that we'll be able to use for anything, rollable tables, for magic items and consumables and treasure chests. I mean, look at this. This is just random items. What is this? A D1000. It's a D1000 table. My goodness. So this is definitely worth the money, and we will definitely draw on this. Now that I'm thinking about this, I have like a black printer cartridge that's on its last legs, black ink, and I think I might like just print this out and go for broke here, because this is incredible. This is incredible. So we will draw on that as well. And yeah, actually, let's start with some of the questions here. And let me just clear my space so we're in ready to get started right after that. Which, by the way, I also this was for the dungeon crawl. Maybe we'll still use it. And then I also printed and cut all of those little hex. Made a little sticker for it. Isn't that cute? All of those hex spots here. Oh my gosh, that's not even near the cutest thing. Wait till you see this. So I did undo all the little perforations, and get ready, because you're going to have like cute rage when you see this. I made the littlest filing cabinet for all of them. It's so cute. Here's all the conditions. These are the ones that I made for like the things that came up that there weren't cards available for them, just so that we don't waste all of like they do have blank cards. For instance, one of the things that it had was a 6-inch chain, which I don't really understand what it is yet, because it doesn't have a like damage rating on it. Usually the weapons will have, for instance, the Warhammer has D10 on it, and so it doesn't have that. So we'll see. Who knows what it can be. It can be, oh, this one. I chose like little pictures for each of these, and they all had to be, you know, just to keep it all consistent, like commercial free for commercial usage. And this is the closest thing I could find for a bottle of milk. It's just a baby bottle. Sorry, I don't know if you can see that. And then I'll go over what everybody has before we start, but yeah, like a holy symbol. I was able to find a Dharma wheel, and yeah, and then everything else. This is like two-handed weapons, blank cards. So I will keep this near. Now this is just the core set. This includes nothing from the estate add-on. And let me tell you, I think like just based on this for the core set, I would bet you that if we did the estate, it would be like 6 of these whole things. Anyways, it's just a lot. It's a lot in a good way. I don't know as far as dice. We'll see what shows up on camera well. But these can go over here for now. I really like these Paladin ones because they just show up really well. I did get some new dice today, but they seem like something that's better for like Death in Space or Mothership. What do you think? They're a little bit too, yeah. Although I got them because they show up really well on camera. But let me just actually, I'm gonna use the rune dice. I think those will show up really good. Don't worry about it. I'll be right back. Why do I waste so much time doing this? I just need to say that this is like the best. This is the best solo setup in the history of solo setups. I mean, what do you need that is not here? Like what else do you need? It's the best. I mean, I literally can. I even have my dice ring, so I'm like married to the game, bro. I'm married to the game. Sorry. I'll be right back. Okay. So, let us start on Hex 1, and we'll use this is like the core set GM screen thing. It has a nice overland travel that's pretty concise. But let's just remind ourselves really quick about a couple of things. It's D20 roll under for saves, strength, dex, willpower, and wits if it comes up. Opposed saves, both save. Lowest successful value wins. Advantage is roll 2d20 and take the better result. And then failed saves, damage, condition, lost time, lost items, mark usage. Again, when we have any sort of condition, we add one of the condition things to our inventory, and it takes up a spot. And if there's already something there, it can crowd out and make us have to remove something. I'm hoping that it doesn't get okay. Good. So this is not going to apply to our shared inventory or party inventory, but for instance, if I had a condition right now on Belladonna Katrezen, I'd have to pick something to get rid of. Now, I'm thinking about how rations and torches go, and it takes up half the inventory of each of these to do rations and torches, and we'll leave them for now, but we'll leave them for now. But I bet you right at the first time that I get some sort of item, I'm going to be like, well, why don't we just get rid of these? Because it comes down to about the same thing if I just track it on one. Is that fair? Maybe. The reason why it might be fair is because my main character has 6 slots. And so actually, on one hand, it's not fair because they are like hirelings, technically. I mean, we're all one party here, but I'm summarizing. These are summary characters, so they should have like a little bit less inventory. Well, let's see how it goes. I bet you I get rid of it as soon as I'm frustrated. Okay. Magic invests 1 to 3 power up to the amount of unused dots. And what that means is for any of the magic, for instance, restore, we based on how much we invest, that is going to determine like how much. I think restore is an HP restoration spell, but if it runs out of those spaces, you have to recharge it, and each like magic runes thing is related to. There's a really nice hex crawl toolbox in here too. So it's related to the spell itself. I remember if you heard the playthrough that we did on the Seal Team Waffle Alpha podcast, it was like darkness was a spell. It like created an orb of darkness. And in order to recharge it, I think you had to like go out into the light for a certain like a day or something like that. And let me try and find it here. Okay, so let's look up restore. Is that even on here? If not, well, okay, restore. Remove exhausted or frightened condition from, I guess dice would be like a dice roll, and then I think there's another one for some. I have to review that. Okay, the spell has effect which varies depending on the number of dice invested and the sum of the rolled dice. Okay, so I see. So every circle we use up out of 3, we add a dice. Plus 1 creatures. And then to recharge the rune, because like to cast spells in this game, you gotta like hold it and speak the words. It's depleted at that point. For restore, we have to bury in a peaceful field or riverbank for 3 days, and then the rune is recharged, which I think is kind of cool. I mean, it's it doesn't. Not every game has to play by the rules of like video games. Of like, well, I should just be able to like go to a magic fixer or it should recharge when I take a mana potion or something like that. And then we do have to see if there's a miscast when we roll the dice. If there's a 6 that comes up, that's a miscast. And we can review that when we have to do it. We don't have to worry about this. Warbands, constructions, it has an example of play. As far as combat goes, again, very simple. It's basically HP is hit protection. We'll do dex checks to see who goes first. On your turn in a combat round, your mouse can move up to 12 inches and perform an action. Actions can be anything. Negotiating, fleeing. Actions always hit. Roll your weapons die and do that much damage to an opponent minus their armor. When an attack is impaired, such as firing into cover or while grappled, roll a d4 for it regardless of weapon. And when it's enhanced by a gambit or vulnerable opponent, we roll d12. Damage is first dealt to their hit protection. This represents their ability to avoid or shrug off the damage, and once that's depleted, it's dealt to strength. After taking strength damage, the creature must make a strength save. If they succeed, they're still able to fight. If they fail, they take crit damage. When they take crit damage, they take an injured condition and are incapacitated until tended to by an ally. If an incapacitated creature is left untended for 6 exploration turns, they die. And so again, I think that when we get that first wound, we'll do a scar, and we'll see if we can use the scar to amplify things instead of just taking something away. So for Jack Pip here, let's see if I can zoom a little bit. There we go. For Jack, I gave him a sword, which is a versatile weapon. When it's single hand used, it's a D8. Now, if we add the dagger, and by the way, taking something out of inventory, it takes time, so it takes up a turn. But say in combat, say we did that here. If we roll a dagger and a sword, the sword goes down to D6, but we have 2 weapons. And the way that it goes for 2-handed attacks is you roll 2 dice and take the higher one. It's not 2 separate attacks. All right. And the same thing for like like Belladonna here has a bow. Oh, doesn't he have arrows? Wow. That makes me frustrated. And I'm just going to take away these rations and torches. That makes no sense. And I should get extra rations and torches for Jack Pip. Yes, I should. Yes, I should. Well, maybe I shouldn't. Anyways, we will to cast a spell, we'll have to move this into her hand and then disarm the bow, and then to take the bow out again, it has to do the same thing. So let me figure out rations and torches. I need to look within. All right, so I figured it out. All of their rations and torches go on to Jack. They'll still continue to take up his slot, and they'll be representative for everyone's rations and torches. And the compromise here is that, yes, Jack will carry all of them, and they'll only count for 2 items, even though it's like for the whole group. Sure. However, he then has 4 items, effectively, as does everybody else. So everybody has 4 slots. Jack has 2 that count for the rations and torches of the whole party. He's not like necessarily carrying all of them. Just imagine, okay? I don't know what grit is. I'll have to figure that out. And then rest, short rest, take a turn, restore D6 plus 1 HP. Long takes a whole watch. And a watch is, by the way, like this is a watch. This is a turn. And a full it takes a week, which that's long because this is sunrise, noon, sunset, night watch, morning watch, afternoon watch, evening watch. If we look down here, each turn when players are using a torch or lantern, mark T or L in the turn's box. When 6 boxes are marked, tell the player to mark usage on their light source. And this is, I think, for dungeon tracking, right? Because it would just be for night and maybe evening. In a dungeon, roll D6 for encounter every 3 turns. When you roll a 1, it's an encounter. When you roll 2, it's an omen of an encounter, and we roll for type. Now, this might be a little bit different because I think I took that from a supplement. Who cares? It works. In the wilderness, roll D6 for encounter at sunrise and sunset. If an encounter or omen is rolled, roll D12 to find the hour. Roll D12 to find the hour. I think that's kind of cool. I mean, I wish it just said if an omen is rolled, because then we could say, okay, an omen's been rolled. It's not happening now, but we'll roll D12. And if the time is ahead of us, that's when that thing will happen. So it's like a pre-planned encounter. I kind of like that. We'll use it until we figure out something different. Okay. All right. Let's talk about Jack here. Character questions. How old is your mouse? Now, this is interesting. A mouse is considered an adult at 8 weeks. So why don't we say that, let's see. So 8 weeks, 52 weeks in a year. That would mean... All right, this is actually kind of tricky because it's exponential growth here. This is at ageconverter.com, which it must be reliable. The site's called ageconverter.com. So let's see here. Right, so it's at 8 weeks, they're an adult. Maybe 7 to 8 weeks. If we're thinking like legal 8, I don't know if they do the same thing. Do mice have the same rules around like 18 they can vote? So we want Jack Pip to be, he's a cartographer. Well, we'll say that Jack is 5 months. So he's about 30 years old. Okay. And, that's he's in the prime of his career, but still needs to prove that he's the foremost, cartographer. And let's see. Does your mouse have a family? Why don't we say, yeah, he does have a family, and he's wrote him letters, and, for at first, the first 2 weeks they wrote back, but lately they just haven't been writing back. I'm the oldest, and I have a lot to live up to because my siblings, they look up to me. Do we have any past adventuring experience? Yes. Well, we can probably see here. Sorry for your ears. No, but extensive cartography experience. You know what I mean? Like lots of study. This is the first field thing. Am I scared of a particular species? Let's see. Bloodstains? Let's see. Talking animals. Trying to find like the first thing that says an animal here. A letter from a lawyer. Full moon. Okay. Wolves. They're just like a myth. They've never heard, never seen one. But boy, the way that they're described. Do I have any previous adventuring buddies? Yeah, I would say that one of these folks is probably like a trusted adventuring buddy. And I got to think it's Dill Winterholm. Dill is a cage dweller, but for me, he's like what he's basically my Sean Astin, what's that guy's name again? Samwise Gamgee. And I hate the fact for Game of Thrones that I have to decide in my head whether it's that or Tarly. Okay. How does your mouse feel about human items? They're fascinating technology to be studied. Non-mice species, I'd say they're curious. How do they feel about romance? Who has time for that? Besides, Cassia, she takes too many risks. She's a gambler. And Belladonna, well, she's a priest. Don't they have a vow of, something or other? Let's do a 1d10 here to get a little scenario for ourselves. 9. Your parent was a great mouse hero, and others have high expectations. Perfect. So yeah, my parents were like renowned for they traveled all over the backyard. Heroism was known far and wide. Now let's do a D66 birth sign and see what kind of extra benefits I have. Right now I have it as star, which I actually don't see star on here. Maybe they did all like different ones. Because in the book, in the core book, there's no benefits to this. All right, 13. Grass. Great. +1 dex. Wow, my dex is getting up there. I love that. Born under the grass sign. Okay. Well, that's going to have to keep my wits the same because I wrote that in pen. Because I actually used a white pen under it. All right. We're also going to use the leveling up here because what this says is when he would try to level up with his players, you had to hit 5,000 XP for 1,000 XP for level 2, and he said it just took forever. So he did 500 for that. All right. So you want to grab another disposition on my guy? Because I actually don't have a disposition for Jack Pip. 23. Cautious and fidgety. Now, I am fine with that. I just want to make sure I don't have like a duplicate. Industrious, imaginative, nurturing, worrying. I don't think... Let's add these to Dill. I just like for character diversity. I don't want to have two people who are like, oh no. Cautious, fidgety. I like that the guy with a warhammer is cautious, fidgety, nurturing, and worrying. 32. Clumsy and positive. I like that. Maybe I'll even add forgetful. But positive. And maybe even so positive that his parents were like, Jack, you don't have to be like us. You don't have to be an adventurer. You're such a great guy. Um, why don't you do your own thing? You really love studying and being in libraries, and that's great. Like, you don't have to. Oh, no, no. I will be just like you. I've got the genetics, just like my 30 siblings. And I'm going to show you, the world, how wonderful, wonderful I can be. Oh, now this is cool. This is just a colored table, which I'm thankful the words are there. And we'll be able to like get different weapons rolled up, weapon mods. Yeah, this is a whole thing to make custom weapons. Awesome. Okay. I think that's pretty good to start, right? One thing that I'm going to have to learn, just because it's a little different than what I'm used to, is let's see. Why can't I? Oh, there we go. It's just how the turns work, and it might not be always consistent. But for we're in the first hex here, and again, we can keep notes on it using this. I did keep this on the back. Let's just read what it says. You wake up in the swamp farm, hex 1. You can't tell how you got there. After talking with the residents, they will let you know that you were found unconscious in the pound. Hex 14. Okay, so now if you see this here, what's interesting is it looks like the pound comes out of a drain pipe. So maybe all of us were just like floating in this swamp. We got dragged here. We'll start en media race. You're a street mouse. It's the first time you're outside the town. That's okay. We'll figure that out. Why were you flushed away? We did that. We want to explore because we're looking to make the maps of this area of the backyard. And I would say that people say, backyard? What's a backyard? And we're like, whoa, we're not in Kansas, aka the backyard anymore. All right, there are 3 factions in play. Each one has its own agenda, but for you, there's no clear goal. Make the path as you go and explore the outlands. Shape the world and make it a better place. So the Rat Bandits are a ruthless gang. They have a secret hideout. They're trying to dominate a trade route. And each time there's like something that advances that, we'll fill in one of these circles as they try to achieve their goal. And then we'll have to think about what are the implications of them achieving that. And then the Coven of Crows, cunning corvid crones, cawing song magic, soaring scrying tower. They want to kidnap a mouse farmer and create a weather machine, which is going to take a lot. Now, this can also be something where maybe I align with them to help them with those things. Cat Lady Azura, terrifying presence, hired mercenaries and bandits, exorbitant wealth, wants to raise bribes from settlement and subjugate a settlement. Oh, separate sheet. All right. So now, rumor. They know how to talk with ghosts. Okay. We are encountering a traveler mouse, which it says a con artist, but we'll see about that. And trigger an illness has struck. It's a small settlement, about 3 families with unnervingly tall twisting towers. So I think we're going to have to kind of go our own way on this a little bit. But it does say you wake up in Swamp Farm. Okay. So somebody brought us here. DM notes. We'll keep that covered here for a second. Let's you know what? I think it'll be okay to just like read it over because we'll determine like what part of it we buy and what we sell. Because there's some rumors and encounters up here and we can just like summon different things too. So they know how to talk with ghosts. That's a rumor, okay? We encounter a traveler mouse. we don't know if they're a con artist. Let's not even assume that. Let's meet them. We'll see what's up. What else? It's a small settlement. It has about 3 families, unnervingly tall, twisting towers. Mm-hmm. And we can see that actually from the hex here, right in the middle. Okay. There's some illness. It's pseudo-ruled by a committee of scavengers. Members are known for carefully picking trash piles. So that's how they found me in the pound and lazing by the stream. They have a tavern called the Black Bee where they have spiced backed carrot. DM notes, the village is built over a rusty bicycle. Treat the mice as cool hippies. Oh, I like that. Hey, man. The water from Hex 14 is poisoning the mice. Okay. Crows have claimed the resource site and demand percentage of the findings. Cat stays at the bay. She's afraid of the weird noises that come from here and doesn't know that they're made by mice. And the bandits can often be found in the tavern. They're as welcome as any other traveler. And of course, the bandits. So I thought this was like a cat lady. I think it's the cat's name is Lady Azura. The rat bandits. So the rat bandits like to hang out. All right. So that's fine. Like that's some information there. Again, I don't really feel beholden to any of that. But I think it's a cool starting info. And in fact, we have a little bit of probably able to imagine a little bit here. I love looking at pictures like this and just kind of letting it stream into my subconscious mind. Okay. So we walk in, there's a mouse that greets us, and that mouse is doing something. Well, first of all, let's see their reaction. We'll use the null dice. All right, money. And okay. So that little hazy thing right there, I always forget what that is. So we'll just take a look at the null dice pamphlet here for a second. All right. Right, that's missed, uncertain. Bag is bribery or bargaining. Okay. So a bribe may help provoke a reaction. It may be worth a try. Offering a bribe made this creature standoffish. The creature may offer a bribe, but not clear what for. All right, so I got an idea here for this. So we wake up, and over us, sitting on a log, we see, like, I don't know, this mouse. Honestly, this is the one that's, like, in my mind right here, but he's maybe wearing some tie-dye, and he's whittling something. Maybe humming. Maybe some Black Sabbath, like. All right. So now let's find a name for this guy. Corsonio. I like that. Cool. Hey, man, you're awake. I got kind of a headache, and I walk up, and I'm like, where am I? Oh, man. Let's just say you're in a place that was a lot better than where you were, man. Well, where was I? Well, you and your friends, you were in a pretty messy place. It was really, really bad. The water was stagnant and gross. Well, where are we now? Welcome to Swamp Farm. And I'm like, how is that any better than... Okay. Well, how did... I look back. Everybody else is still snoozing away right now. And I say, well, I rub my head. How did we get here? Hey, man, listen, I'd love to give you some more information, but you got to kind of, And I'm like, What? You got to kind of sing me a tune, so to speak. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, look in my pocket. I grab my map. It's like sopping. The quill is wet. I got to dry out all this stuff. I look at my compass. It's just spinning. And I'm like, I only have two pips. I could check what other people have. It's like, you say you only have two pips? I go, yeah. He goes, who sings that? I'm like, I'm sorry? It's like, it's called I Only Have Two Pips. And I suddenly realize this man literally wants me to bribe him with a song. And I'm like, yeah, that's the song. He's like, awesome. I haven't heard that one. Go ahead. And I'm like, I really don't feel like singing. He's like, man, I don't really feel like, I feel like whittling and kind of enjoying myself right now. Now I'm like happy to meet new people, but I'm kind of doing something for you. And I already kind of like pulled you guys out of a swamp to bring you to Swamp Farm. So the least you could do is sing just like the first verse of I Only Have Two Pips. And I'm like, okay. So here. Let's see. And I kind of give myself a little cadence. I say, well, those nights are filled with laughter, but you check your pocket, there's uncertainty after. You thought to yourself, maybe I'm rich, maybe, but something's in my pocket, not where it should be. I wear this heavy yoke on my back. My burdens are doubled, but empties my sack. It used to have some pips. It used to have a quarter, but now I am soggy with water. In my pockets, half of what I need. If I had a ladder, I would take it to see if there was somebody who could give me my crown, 'cause I used to be a king, but now I'm a clown, and I lost 2, 3, 4 pips. I lost them just like your eyes in an eclipse. Fate strikes at the attempt to see where my money went. My skin's burning. And he's like, my skin's burning? I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, what does that mean? I'm like, the guy who wrote the song had a rash. He's like, wow. I think I heard that one before. It was really good. So then he's like, all right, I'll tell you the whole thing. Why don't you come back to my house and kind of dry out? And I go, okay. So I wake everybody up. I wake up Cassia. And Cassia's like, oh, my head, my hair. And I'm like, you could fix your hair later. Come on, Cassia. We got to go with, I said, what's your name? Corsonio. It's like Antonio, but of course. Right. Okay, so Corsonio is going to bring us to his house. And I'm like, who's Corsonio? I'm like, I don't know. I don't even remember how we fell. What is happening? And I get Dill, and Dill wakes up and goes, where are we? I said, Dill, just come on, it's okay. He's like, I was having a dream that I'm nervous, and now I woke and I'm nervous. Living nightmare. Where's my warhammer? It's on your back, Dill. Come on. Let's I think this guy I met here is gonna help us figure out what happened. And then Belladonna is also sleeping, but she's a mendicant priest, so she's kind of sleeping like, it almost looks like she's in a coffin. That's how she was trained. And I say, Belladonna, and she opens her eyes and immediately goes, yes, speak. I'm like, and I never get used to the fact that that's how Belladonna wakes up. I say, look, Corsonio here is wants us to come back to the house, so why don't we just come back with him? And we really have no other options. So we're walking through the town, and we're looking around, and we see here. Just let me take a little longer look at this here. So there's some sort of clothing, power, drainage line. Let's see. So there is a little bit of gap here. A log and fort, but it's mostly connected. This looks like a poopy pipe we fell out of. And a little bridge here. And then we go into this tube, which this does make sense. Okay, that's actually, now I'm seeing it. This is a bicycle without a wheel, a pedal. We don't know any of that. They might even use the pedal as like an elevator system. And so Corsonio's like, coming up with 5. And he gives like a cheesy smile. He's like, all right, everyone, I assume you've been on a pedalvator before. Like, no, what's that? And before we could even finish, it's like, whoa! And we spin up and go to the house. Inside the house, we see his grandmother, and her name is Marlene. And Marlene is, well, what can we say? The first thing we notice about Marlene is it's a one-sided conversation. She's in a tower. She is not humble. And she's in a recliner chair. She goes, Corso, who'd you bring up now? I already told you. We ran out of cereal this morning. We can't have any guests, but if we do, we got to just serve them drinks. That's all it is. Even if we have them for dinner, we got to put drinks down in front of them. 6 drinks? What kind of dinner is that, Corso? You know we can't serve drinks for dinner. We'd be the laughing stock of the town. Luckily, the whole town is just about 3 houses, but still, they already have nasty things to say about me. That Genevieve, she's disgusting with her gossip. How are you, dears? Oh my God, you're wet. Here's a towel. Oops, I used that one after I showered today. How about enough? And just keeps going and going. He's like, guys, this is my grandmother. Little word to the wise, he says. If you hum really softly, it kind of fades what she says into the background. And Dill goes, but what if what she says is important? It's like, it's not, man. I've been living here for 25 years and she never said anything important. Wait a minute. I've been living here for 25 weeks. She never said anything important. All right, so let's just take a pause to think about like what kind of tools and stuff we could use here just to reorient ourselves. So we already know this is called Swamp Farm. Some bric-a-brac. I don't feel like I need to know too much more about like appearance or anything, although that could be helpful. What do we need right now? We need to understand what our goal is. We need to understand what is. Okay, let's think about our characters. Our characters woke up, tremendous headaches, waterlogged, a whittling hippie, no other choice but to go up into a pedal elevator into a house with a motor mouth, for lack of a better term. Boy, it's been a while since I heard that insult. And we probably we just suffered something that was really, really scary and just survived by the skin of our teeth. And I guess I can look at this spark table here on Einzelmaus. Maybe we can get an idea of what we just survived. So let's look here. Let's roll a d20. 17 foresee. 18 doubt. Oh, that's not good. Foresee doubt. I need a little something more. I need a noun. Engineer. Draw 2 identities. Do I even have like identity cards, or is this a different kind of card? Identity. Draw 2 identity. Oh, I see. Okay, guardian. All right. So we were pretty early in our quest, and we were going to map the far reaches of the yard. And we were very lucky because in the first pub that we went to looking for clues, somebody said, "Oh, you know what? I know somebody who engineered a subway." And we're like, "What's a subway?" And they said, it's a machine that will carry you all the way to the edge of the map." And we said, "Well, how is there a subway to the edge of the map if no one's explored it?" And they said, No. That's the thing. Is it's only half done with it. Okay? So it doesn't reach anything yet because they still don't know what's out there. So this will be really great because you can help him to map this out so that he can figure out where his subway goes. And we're like, wow, this is a huge stroke of luck. And he goes, yeah, I could take you to him. And long story short, this was completely made up. And we went into the subway, and the subway basically was just kind of took us here and shot us out right here. But maybe, I don't know how, but maybe we really don't understand that was a setup. Maybe we think like this is the half done subway. This is where it lets out. And so we still have an opportunity to explore the yard. But I do think that we are discouraged because, well, we just didn't think our adventure was going to start this way. And now these people don't even seem to recognize the yard. And we say, so are we somewhere else? Or maybe we're just so far out in the backyard that they don't even know. These poor people, they're so far from civilization that they don't even know where they are. Right. And so we sit and Corsonio is nice enough to give us like a lay of the land, is able to tell us about the factions. Watch out for the cat. Man, the rat bandits, they come to the honeybee, but they're actually pretty cool. And then who's the last faction here? The Coven of Crows. You gotta watch out for those, man. They take us. I don't even know. I don't even want to think about what they do with us. And so they're it looks like Tavern, the Black Bee. It says it's on Hex 17. But that does not appear. Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, interesting. So it's kind of giving us like a little bit of a. I don't think I want to follow the poisoning thing. I think instead I want to talk to maybe the grandmother, because she's probably quite old, and say, learn about this area. And so I can get her to calm down and talk to her about the area, and then maybe through this dialogue we can learn like a good place to go to resume our mapping. All right, so I think we can reverse engineer this conversation. The adventure seeds from the core book, we'll roll on this 3 times, and then we'll think about like how the Marlene, the grandma mouse, comes to know this. Okay, so let's do D66. 44. Tunneler's Guild Boss. Okay. 22. Home has been destroyed. 5, 1. Their followers disagree. Tunneler's Guild Boss. So, let me think about that for a minute. By God, I've got it. Okay, so if read a little bit differently, Tunneler's Guild Boss, home has been destroyed, their followers disagree. So let's pretend that is not the Tunneler's Guild Boss's home. But let's say, when I think of Tunneler, this looks like a tunnel. All right, and this is that subway that's being built. And let's say that they are destroying a home to build this through. And whoever lives here says, you can't do this because I live here. But they disagree. They say, no, this is just a swamp. You should be so lucky that we're building through it. Now, what makes this really good is that if we look at 14, the stagnant pound, which, is that supposed to be pond? Or is pound a word for pond somewhere that I don't know about? Because a pound is like a puppy pound to me. Anyways. Encounter a mad frog. Now, this is like totally a different concept here, but if we think about this, maybe this frog is mad that they're taking the home, and I say, or Cassia says, the frog is telling you all this? It says, oh yeah, he tells us everything. Yeah, he's good friends of ours. I don't know why she became Great Lakes, but it works. Yeah, man, who do you think saved you from the pond? And then we're like, whoa, what? It's like, yeah. I don't know how to swim that good. It was Bolt. Bolt the frog, man, dragged you out. Old man, angry as hell, but a really good dude. Yeah, you all would have died without him. He put you on a lily pad and sent you to the edge, and I was there appreciating nature. And Marlene looks at him. He always says he appreciates nature, but I think something else happens because when he comes home, he smells like some sort of burnt leaf. Yeah, man, I just do ornithology. Anyways, yeah, so this would be 14, the pound. And we have the mad frog, who on, what would we say, like on brand here at the pound, instead of being spelled B-O-L-T, Bolt is spelled B-O-U-L-T. Bolt the old frog, old mad frog. And this company that screwed us over and sent us flying into this swamp, they're trying to build right over his swamp right there. Okay. And so Dill says, now look, here's what I'm thinking. Here's what I'm thinking. And everyone turns towards Dill and he goes, we need to go home. And we're all like, that's it? That's it, Dill? Yeah. It's like, oh, that's your plan? Yeah. Immediately, please. And we're like, well, we would definitely like to do that. And we say, friends, we can't thank you enough for letting us stay here, but we really do need to get home. What would you say is the best way? And I look at my compass and I say the best way, and I don't know why this like usage of compass, but maybe it could just be an abstract thing that triggers something. I say, which way is west? And they point this way. And I go, perfect. Okay, so we're definitely west of here. What's the best way to get west? And they give us these directions. You got to go here, here, here. And then all of a sudden, Belladonna says, I'm sorry, but no. And we're like, what? No, we cannot take that way. Why not? Well, she explains that though they gave us very convoluted directions, basically they just said go back through the pipe. And we're like, is that true? And Marlene's like, oh yeah, you got to go through the pipe. Yep. And this wall here extends this way. There's no way back other than through the pipe. Or you could cross here, but something, well, you know what's over here? El Lobo, the wolf, which I am deathly afraid of. And I said, that's not real. Is that real? Yeah, man, afraid so. We're not even allowed to go to the shore. I'm not even able to go and appreciate nature by that shore because the Lobo. And they both kind of look down. And so our choices are the wolf or the frog. And Kasia says, well, why don't we, go and at least thank this frog for helping us, and then we can kind of see what's what here. So we go, okay, we'll get some rest, and then tomorrow morning we'll start on our way. And so that way I can sort of like start the turn tracker back over again. Or actually maybe not, right? Because we do have the night watch. And so every 3? Each turn when players are using it. No, we wouldn't need any torches because we're not traveling. We're not really in the wilderness. Yeah, so I guess it would just start us over at sunrise here. And let's see, just review the all right. Travel time. Crossing a 1 mile hex takes 1 watch. If it's difficult terrain, it requires 2 watches. So let's see where we'd have to go. So we can go down and to the right. That's probably the best way to do it. Yeah, because we avoid that. So this takes a watch to travel across. And then we have to spend 1 watch per day resting or gain an exhausted condition. And I'm wondering, before we leave, should we go to the... we shouldn't waste any time, right? It doesn't make sense for our characters to be like, well, let's stop and have a drink for a whole day. I don't think it's that kind of group. Okay. I'm just going to ref the book to check to make sure that we're doing travel right, because I want to get this because I actually really like how this is set up, and I want to make sure I match its vision. Did I pause? All right, this is fun. So we'll kind of ignore that adventure for a second just to, I mean, we'll go into Hex 5, but rather than reading what it has to say, let's try the hex crawl rules just to see what those are like, okay? So start with a 5x5 map of 1 mile hexes. We got it. Place a friendly settlement in the center. We got it. Fill the remaining hexes. Roll on the hex contents tables or use as an inspiration. Write a 1-line description. Okay, we got that. This is kind of pre-made, so adventure sites, seed rumors. So we should actually roll a rumor that maybe Marlene says right before we leave, and we're like, okay. So let's see. Was there rumors, or did I make... Oh, yeah. 1d6 rumors. 5. Crows are gathering materials to build a death ray. That's definitely a rumor. All right. See, that doesn't... Oh, I see it. It's calling 5 the drain pipe outlet because it's like this little... there's like a hole right there, but let's see what it's like to generate the hex. So we got some rumors. We have an encounter table. In the first session, pick one of the adventure sites you've detailed and start the players at the entrance. We did that. Oh, see, we could have started adventure site Hook, searching for a lost family member. We've got a good one. Once the players are done exploring the adventure site or need to retreat back, show them a blank version of your map. Mark the friendly settlement. Got it. So we're going to expand the map. Hex contents. For each hex on your map, roll, choose, or invent. Hex type, landmark, and interesting detail. All right, so hex type here. We'll roll a d6. 3. Forest and landmarks. This is a d20. And in case, I think the d20, roll either black or red die. Outlines are 1 through 10. Solids are 11 through 20. This is the dyadic d20 dice, which hopefully they restock at Tower House. They're great. All right, so 4. Cow skeleton is here. Oh, no. That's a countryside. So forest, cliff face. And this is a d6 plus d8. So for a d6, 4. All right, and then we'll roll a d8. 6. Natural feature, peaceful and safe. Who gathers here? So this is probably us. We know settlement. We know that. What I want to see is how do I travel through the hex? You know what I mean? Like as I'm going through, I'm going to be exploring the wilderness in the same way that I would explore a dungeon, right? Or maybe not. Maybe the wilderness is like a above ground dungeon. Let's dig in a little deeper. All right, cool. So back to this. When the mice are when they're exploring the wilderness, roll for encounters at the start of the morning watch and the start of the evening watch. Then we roll a d12 to find out what hour it occurs in. So now this makes sense to me. We will roll on the table, and then we'll roll a 1d12 to see like AM or PM, whatever's ahead of us here. And so, okay. And we'll do this at the beginning of the morning watch, which is right here, and the evening watch, which is right there. For each major area, prepare a table of d6 encounters. We already have that. And then we have reactions and morale. So this means that we go to the encounters on this sheet, and we do a 1d6. 1. A merchant from Stoneshine. Oh no, it went to a 4. We've encountered trash knights so that we can see combat. Wow, just our luck. So let's find some trash knights. All right, so the trash knights are rats, 3 HP, 12 strength. Wow, 8 dex, 8 will. Attacks are D6 cleaver. Wants easy wealth to take from the weak. Now, we want to show combat here, but if this was a game that was not at 2 hours and 14 minutes of a video, I would roll reactions first to make sure that they're hostile. They might not be hostile, although sometimes it's more obvious, like, you know, given the context. So these look like trash knights, right? And because they're trash knights, they have 1 armor, tin breastplates, and helm. Wants easy wealth and to take from the weak. And they have a D6 cleaver. Okay, so what shall we do? Well, all of our attacks are going to be pretty much simultaneous, but let's do a dex save to act first. So my dex is 11, and so I will gladly volunteer that save. And the trash knights, oh no, I don't want to bend that. Dex is 8, so we'll do red for danger. Trash knights rolling 8 or under. I'm rolling 11 or under. Wow. So I crit. No, I didn't. I rolled an 11 because it's filled in. They did a nice roll. So our dexes are equal. They're not surprised. So I guess, is it like a is it like who has the more save? Because I guess they would be 6 under. I don't want to be misleading, but at the same time, I don't want to get pedant. So the lowest successful roll wins. Okay, so they are going to go first. I have to figure out how many of these gentlemen there are. Is there instructions for that? I think there are in the addendum, in Hansen's guide. All right, there's like these group modifiers, but that's okay. We'll just roll a 1d3 to see how many there are. Another thing that I missed, by the way, is should have rolled weather to see if it was difficult to travel, but that's okay. This is how we get used to this stuff, right? So I'm just going to use my severed books. I know that they're not rats, but let's see how many were. 2. All right, so I guess the closest I have to rats here are goblins. That's fine. Oh, what am I doing? Just take one. For God's... I hate that you have to see this. All right, there we go. So now it says that we can move per turn 12 feet and then take an action. And so I'll say that each of these squares is what, 4 feet, I think. And as far as obstructions go, just so we could like determine cover or anything like that, just keep it simple. What do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So right there, I'm just going to mark that here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. Okay. Give me a second. So, I mean, give me a second. I know what I'm doing. All right. So just, okay, 5 and 6. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. I don't want to do it that low. We'll do 2 more. 2 and 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. It kind of matches up to the terrain, anyways. And 1 more. We'll go 4 and 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Good. All right. So this will be like cover. And we'll use that and go from there. So they're going to go first. And I would say that this one is going to go maybe right there. And then good. And who has the highest? Well, my sheet is... Oh, no. My sheet is in the... Okay. I just have to laugh because I think this whole video I've just been like, these little tabs are so perfect. They're so convenient. And I bet you they are when you're on a big table. But right now, given that I have this much space, it's a bit of a headache. Okay. So now my folks are going to go just looking, like thinking what my options are here. Really, my bow, I could with Belladonna, who is here. And ranged attacks, I'm trying to think of like what the distance is for those. I don't see that. It's a D8. Okay, so really, I think this is probably usually more theater of the mind. I was kind of doing this for demo, but probably just I'll keep doing this, but probably just so we know. The way I would probably do this playing alone, and we'll do it, is just having like near, close, near, and far, and just having them use a move to move from one of those zones to the next, because there really is no specific guidance on how ranged is ranged. I do think we'll go by dex order, will be easiest here. So Jack will go up here behind cover, then is Belladonna, and I think Belladonna is going to go pretty close here, and then whip an arrow. And so we will do D8 for that. Let's see. I think that, if I recall, they only had 3 hit protection. So hits for an 8, but they did have 1 armor, so hits for a 7. But even so, that would be enough to be a critical hit, which for the enemies, I believe it'd be morale. Whenever an antagonist is in a battle with the mice and reaches one of the following conditions, it must make a will save. On a failure, the creature must flee or surrender. Is obviously outmatched. The first time they take damage to strength, dex, or will, sees an enemy flee. Just make sure here. Yep. 3 HP, 12 strength though. So, okay. So their will is 8. So they'll obviously have to make this will check. Now the question I have is like, why not make a strength check? Because that's what I would have to do, but I guess it's more of a catch-all. I guess I could do a strength check because it's not a question of morale. It's a question of I just blasted through their hit protection. And so in my mind, oh, we'll just do what it says. All right. So the will is 8. 16. So they fail a will. And I would say that that means they're dead because it's like an arrow directly to the face. But we could say they flee or surrender. I don't know if that's like the type of game this is where it's like they only flee or surrender. But in my type of game, dead. And then let's see. Dill is next. 1, 2, 3. And Dill is not in Warhammer range. And finally would be Slowpoke Kasha, who I guess we could do a sling, which is a d6. And then after this, I have to like roll to see. There's instructions on rolling to see if like your any of it got used up. Now I'm not being very inventive here in terms of like how the combat, like if I was GMing, I'd be narrating it. Oof, 1. Okay, so that is absorbed by the armor. So again, it's going to be this dude's turn, and we'll go, let's see, 1, 2. You know, their friend just got crushed, so why don't we do a will save for him as well? 2. So he saves will, and he's going to go 1, 2. And I'd say he's going to cower behind that, and that means that because he's in cover, we're going to have to do D4 rolls on all of these because they are advantaged. I guess my guys could flank him, but we'll just treat it all as if it's behind cover. So we'll go 1, 2, 3. Maybe she loots. Yeah, that's fun. She'll loot the body. And that way we get to roll this D1000 for random items. Ooh, yeah. Now I just got to find my 1,000-sided dice. How do you roll a D1000? I guess you roll a D10 with the double digits twice, right? Or no, we can roll dyadic D20. 8. And so it'll be 8 and then a D10. Which will just go. All right, so this is 8. So 808. Boy, am I excited to loot this body. What do we got here? Oh, hell yeah. A small screwdriver. Flathead. That's pretty good. Wonderful. We're going to loose an arrow. 3. So 2. That's going to bring down to 1 HP. And then Jack. Can Jack do anything fun? Jack's got two-handed sword, so it's a D8, but go 1. Actually, I don't know, able to do anything from there. On the other side of it, we'll give it the benefit of the doubt. And then next we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and Dill with the Warhammer. Dill, don't fail me now. 8. Crush. Needs to do a will save. 9. Fails the will save. And just again, because this is my kind of game, from here, we'll say that not only did Dell crush him, but he crushed the little barrel he was in front of. And Cassia's got the needle, and it's a D6. And she's going to say, "Die, rat scum." And it's like, have you ever seen the movie Only God Forgives? If you have, it's like that one scene. It's pretty awesome. Great. So the last thing that we'll do before I go to sleep for 27 hours is we're going to look up at the end of combat. Oh, after combat, roll d6 for each weapon, ammunition, and armor used on a 4 to 6 mark usage. But I think that would only be like consumables. So nothing there. And then I don't think anyone else did. I don't think we used any other consumable items, right? We didn't use the sling, did we? Whatever. The question I would have is the last thing I don't know is about experience points. I wonder how this was. This was like, I know that I've had to keep referring to things, which is pretty embarrassing on one level because it's such a simple game and I've played 200 games like it, but I did really enjoy this, and so I'm excited to look at it and see how it came out. But I'm worried. Suddenly, I'm worried that it was like, how do you do this? Okay, what about this? Okay, okay. Mice start at level 1. When your mouse your mouse earns experience points by bringing treasure and useful goods back from places of danger. For every pip worth of treasure, your mouse can earn additional XP by spending their pips selflessly on improvements of the whole. Okay. So is there anything like see, it says here, damage is dealt to a creature's hit protection. This represents the creature's ability to avoid or shrug off damage. Once HP is depleted, damage is dealt to strength. So now what I'm wondering is with morale, if that's just like the first ally that gets hurt. I don't know. I'll have to look it up. I want to just know if there's anything in here for me to get a beautiful treasure. What does it say that the trash? They want easy wealth and to take from the weak. Not today, buddy. Not today. Sorry. You got squished to nothing. I wouldn't say this is a treasure hoard. You know what I mean? This is really cool, the way to summon up room types. Okay, this is ridiculous that I'm just sitting here paging in front of you. Yeah, so let me know what you think. Let me know if I've made you a believe ritter. That made no sense. I had a lot of fun. I definitely am going to keep playing this tomorrow morning. And I could definitely see that once I get in the swing of things of like tracking turns and everything like that, it's going to be snappy. But I also can't wait to take this to a table. Let me know what you think. Thanks for coming along. If you made it all the way to here, give yourself a pat on the back. And have a great one. I got a bunch of pips.